Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good evening. News is intensifying around the footballing world. The Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be getting the sack this week if results do go his way. That is a debate within itself. Should Ole stay? Should Ole go? We want to have that with you today. But look at the options. Look at the players being, the manager, being heavily linked to Manchester United. Are these the right level of coaches to take us to the promised land? Man United fans keep telling me week in, week out, day in, day out, Terry, you must have higher standards. We need the elite of the elite of the elite, from players to coaches to grass seed for the green grass at Old Trafford. I don't know. They want these standards. So I thought I'd take a look at the names heavily linked with Man United, the bookies' favourites to become the new managers at Manchester United. And we'll name some of the managers. Maurizio Pochettino, Allegri, Nagelsmann, old Ralphie boy, Hassan Hutel from Southampton, Laurent Blanc. That's like the top 5 according to the bookies right now. So we kind of know who we're picking from. Are those individuals good enough for Manchester United to make us better than what we already are? In fact, forget Ole. Are they good enough to make us better than what we have been since Fergie retired? How much better are Laurent Blanc, Hassan Hutel, Nagelsmann, Allegri, and Poch in comparison to Moyes, LVG, Jose Mourinho, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I want your views and opinions on this. Mine, I feel a little bit underwhelmed this afternoon after doing the research. And maybe it's research that you all know, but I sat there and I looked at these managers. And I'm going to take your calls on this. The Skype lines are opening. I want to hear from you guys on this. And by the way, this isn't even defending Ole. Ole's form has got to continue to improve. He has to do a better job. But everyone keeps talking about standards. Standards, bruv. Have standards. Gotta have standards. I'm like, okay, standards. So let's look at some of the options here. Nagelsmann, talented and young, early 30s. Man's younger than me, bruv. Honestly, I got boxer shorts older than him, right? But 40% win ratio at Hoffenheim, 58% win ratio at Leipzig, semi-final of the Champions League. That is it so far in his managerial career. So zero pedigree to write home about, very inexperienced, but flavor of the month. I like him. I think he's talented. Personally, I'd like him at Man United. That's my view, right? Who else? Ralph at Southampton. He's literally like joint 3rd favourite to get the job at the minute. 38% win ratio at Southampton. A 48% win ratio at RB Leipzig. No trophies, 53 years of age. Suddenly, some United fans think he's good enough for Manchester United. Poch. 38% win ratio at Southampton. 54% win ratio at Tottenham. A Champions League final, yes, but no. 0 trophies, okay? Allegri's is a little bit better, granted. 70% win ratio at Juve, 51% win ratio at Milan, 6 league titles, 7 cups in his career. He's got some trophies at least. Never gone beyond the quarterfinals of the Champions League in his life, 53 years of age, okay? Ole, just look at Ole's for a moment. 55% win ratio at Man United, 30% win ratio at Cardiff, and a Champions League quarter-final. That's the long and the short of it. If you just read all those managers' like CVs off there, forget playing style because that's preference, bruv. You could get 100 people on here. I prefer Pep, Klopp, Poch, Nagelsmann, Simeone, Luis Enrique, Wilder, Wenger, whatever. You're going to get that. But the point I'm making is when it comes to pedigree, when it comes to these standards, ring me now. Phone lines are open. I need to understand what it is you see in these managers is going to get Man United back to the pinnacle, the standard that you all talk about. I'm a little bit lost right now. What I mean by this is, look, they could all do it, but there are no guarantees here. There is no guarantee that any of these managers are taking us back to the promised land, especially not without owners. Please. Actually, I'm a liar about Allegri did get to a final, didn't he, with Juve? My apologies. Allegri did get to a final of the Champions League, not won it though, so he has got that. So for me, when I look at this list of managers that we've been told today by the media are our top 5 favourites to take the job, on pedigree and standards, we can only be looking here at Allegri. He's the only one with a proven track record of a higher win percentage, above 65%, has won trophies, not quite made it in the Champions League, of course, come very, very close. I want your thoughts and I want your opinions. You can suggest managers from outside this bubble, but they're not linked with Man United. They're not available right now. These seem to be the top 5. I haven't shown any stats for Laurent Blanc. I don't think he's going to get it. But Hasselhoffen, that's how you say his name. Is it Hasselhoff? Hasenhussel, Nagelsmann, Allegri, Poch. Which of those 4 would you bring in to replace Oli if he's indeed sacked this week? But you've got to come with standards. You've got to explain to me how they raise the standards and do a better job than Jose, LVG. By the way, Jose and LVG, in my opinion, are better than all of the managers we're now being linked with. Their pedigree and their past is proven it. Maybe you think Nagelsmann's going to get there, but explain to me why. Sky plans are open. First call. Before we do the first call, actually, hit the like button, hit the share button. Please go into our description below and sign up to our mailing list right about now. You're going to need that tonight. Competition time is starting. Comment here says, so does Terry want Oli sacked or not? Terry is low-key snaking Oli by asking who should replace him. Everyone knows my opinion on this. Everyone knows my opinion on what I wanted. You've watched, frankly, man, you've been watching me for time, brother. You know that I wanted United to build something before we moved on to another manager. But I know our club ain't going to build anything. They don't care about that. They're looking for instant gratification. So we're not going to build anything for the future. And it's all about let's bring in someone good now to try and win something now. Then I want the best manager possible. I have no time for disrespect towards Oli. No time for people saying there's no tactics, no style, no system. You know, end of the day, Oli's meant to be the worst manager of these 5. Yet his win percentage in the Premier League is better than Maurizio Pochettino's. You know, it's better than Ralph's. Better than Julian Nagelsmann, really, in a harder league. He hasn't won trophies. I mean, at least Oli, when he was at Mold, won back-to-back league titles. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as these guys. But I'm talking, people keep talking to me about standards. About United got to get back to the pinnacle. These managers are all pretty much the same age as Oli, barring Nagelsmann. Phone now and tell me what makes them better. Educate me, please. I'm confused. Strip Bears here says, sorry, Terry. I'm enjoying this Man United arguing over new managers, considering a lot of people said Lampard first. I hear you on that, bro. I hear why you're enjoying it. First call we've got is Samad on the line. Samad, what you saying, bro?
Hi, Terry.
How you doing? What's your thoughts? Who should replace Oli and why?
For me, if Oli is going to be sacked, I think they should just do it right now because we see how our teams are just getting points and points. So if Ole is going to not going to pick up some points earlier in the season, they should sack him right now.
Yeah.
And then if the fans they want to get Mauricio Pochettino, they just have to be aware of the board of Manchester United because within 2 years' time, the same situation with Jose.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Who would you pick as the next manager, bro?
For me, I'll just go with Mauricio Pochettino because he's proven, and then he has some exciting styles of play. Maybe Pogba could get his form back with Mauricio Pochettino, and then maybe, I think that's my opinion on that.
Yeah. Listen, well, thank you for calling the show and giving your opinions. You would like Mauricio Pochettino in because, in your opinion, he is proven. Ian T here says he's proven as a bottler. And this is the argument for Poch. This is the argument against Poch. Bottled every final and semi-final he's been in. His record against the top 6 is atrocious. And his win percentage in the Premier League is worse than that of Oli. And Oli's a PE teacher. If we go by the rhetoric and we go by the narrative. So I need you to explain why he's proven. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I've got my own thoughts, but I want people to explain their rationale to me as opposed to me just giving you mine. A member here, Jose Mourinho, says Poch is available for free. That's a good point. He's cheap. Strip Bear says, sounds like a plan to get a free manager. I hear that completely. Neil Driscoll says, if Man United sack Oli, who would want new manager have a clue? Neil, that makes sense to me. I'm trying to read that. That don't make sense to me. Terry, your win ratio talk is trash. Thank you, Jose Mourinho, but it isn't. Your win percentage is important. Your win percentage is, nobody's ever won the Premier League without a good win percentage. Like, you have to have a good win percentage to win the league. Like, a very good win percentage to win the league. So, if you're only winning like 50% of your games, you're probably not going to win the league. 60%, you're still probably not going to win the league. You're going to need a mid to high 60 to win it. There we go. So that's the standard for me. But we're looking at managers here that none, barring Allegri, have ever achieved a 60% win ratio. So, and some of them have never won a trophy. Phone up now and tell me how you know that they are going to improve the standards. Because let me give you my thoughts here before we go into the next call. This is all about the Glazers for me and the Woodward and the board. I think Man United fans, take me 10 minutes and I can't hold it in anymore. I think Man United fans are deluding themselves if they think any one of these managers is going to take us back to the promised land. Nobody is under these owners. When you look at these managers, there's holes in all of them, barring Allegri. Barring Allegri, there's holes in all of them. And the problem with Allegri, he doesn't play the open and expansive style that's going to entertain people as much as they want. So you'll still get people complain and moan, I'm bored, we're winning, but I'm bored. We're still going to get the same fallout. We've still got the same board that react to what social media is saying rather than having a plan. They're all going to fail. All of them. Every single one of these managers will fail at Man United. And when people speak about pedigree, can't see it with any of these but Allegri. Jordan Such here with a super chat says, hi, Terry. Do you think if we don't beat Sunderland on Saturday lunchtime, that will be Ollie's last game? Or will the club still stick by him? Do you know what's crazy about this? If we don't get a good result against Istanbul tomorrow and we don't beat Everton, I think he will lose his job. But he shouldn't be on that hairstring. We shouldn't be on that tight, thin rope. It should be we either want Ollie or we don't. And if we don't, winning or losing against Everton should make absolutely no difference. If he's the right man for the job, winning or losing this game is completely and utterly irrelevant. Less than 2 full seasons into his tenure. But the club has got no plan, Jordan. The club has got no backbone. The club has got no foresight. There's no football knowledge on the board. I know people say things like Fergie and Sir Bobby Charlton are on the board. They're not. We had the devastating news about Sir Bobby this week. This hasn't just happened at the drop of a hat. He hasn't been involved in decision-making for a long time at the club. And nor's Fergie. They're figureheads. They don't have any power. Any control. Fighting a losing battle, I think, here. Thank you very much to Zaid for becoming a squad member of the Football Terrace and signing up. Anyone can become a member if they just click on the link in the description below or click the join button. Nearly 1,000 people watching. Why are we not hitting that like button, peeps? Let's get this video flying. Let's hit that like and share button. We've got Sean on the phone now. Sean, who should be the next Man United manager? You there, Sean? Sean was there, but it seems to have frozen. We'll call back again, bro. We're going to go to another caller here. Welcome to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say? Hello? Didn't speak. Next up, we're going to have Alok on the phone. What you saying, Alok? This is going mad. This is really not working properly at the moment. This is going weird on me. Sean, can you hear me? No, it's not answering calls. I'm going to close it. And I'm going to reopen it again and see if I can get it to work. It's giving me a madness now. This is a technical issue while I'm live. We have a super chat in the meantime from Ahmed A. Ahmed A says, this myth that Poch improves players is wrong. The guy bought 27 players and only 10 banged. As well as that, he's a bottler and more stubborn than Ollie. Listen, they say that about all managers. It's like, all managers improve players. All the top managers improve players. You should just look at how many players Pep, Poch and Klopp have recycled out the squad since they've been there and got rid of. They all do the same thing. We've got Tyrone Mills on the show now. Hopefully it's going to work now. Tyrone, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, lovely. What do you want to say, my brother? Who would you pick as the next Manchester United manager?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
You want to stick with Ollie? Tell me why, brother. Tell me why.
because based on the progress that we are making, the thing about it is that if you have to go back in history as to the proven managers in our era, the club and the Pep and those guys, the first season, they revamp their team, they get the guys to understand this is the system that I want to play, this is how we're going to go about the system. Put in the practice, put in the work. Prime example, Raheem Sterling. When Raheem Sterling was at Liverpool, he was not even half the player he was now playing under Pep. Why he had to get into a rigorous training of how Pep want his system to run. He has to understand how the system is going to run, the loopholes, the weak areas, and work on those areas in order to fit into a system that Pep want to play. Oli is trying to do the same thing in terms of getting the guys to understand, okay, this is how we're going to bet. We're going to press high. We're going to move the ball fast. We're going to play aggressive, win back the ball in crucial areas. Bam, 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 score. That is how I see Oli is trying to get the guys up to speed.
Mate,
Pep is a prime
bro,
example.
I hear you on that, bro. I totally get that. Tyrone, thank you for your call. We've got Saeed on next. Saeed, welcome back to the Football Terrace, one of our members. Would you keep Ollie, or would you look to bring in another manager? And if so, who?
To be honest, like I'll probably keep Ollie. It doesn't make any sense like getting either of those managers, to be honest. But to be honest, like either or, like it won't make any difference because whoever comes in, like they won't be backed, and we'll continue with this cycle over and over and over again.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, buddy. I think that's the thing that stands out the most to me is I look at these managers. Allegri is the only one that you can even debate putting onto the elite managers list of the last sort of 10, 15 years. None of these others have even won anything. They're all... This is where the young fans got to understand this. 15 years ago, maybe a bit less, maybe 50, about 10 to 15 years ago, the guy tipped to take over from Fergie, the guy that was on everybody's lips, was Martin O'Neill. That was the guy that everybody said had the prowess and the ability and the skill. Like, he was the guy that was going to come in and take over. There was a time where Owen Coyle, if you've ever heard of him, remember him, was tipped to potentially, he was Bolton manager, played good football. He was tipped to maybe become one of Arsenal's new manager in the future. Every 3 or 4 years, there's a new thing on the block, a new kid on the block who's the next guy who's going to be the next big thing. Chelsea and Tottenham had a manager like this in AVB, Andreas Villas-Boas. And I'm not saying Nagelsmann and Poch and these guys cannot achieve greatness. The point is they're all unproven. And all I keep hearing from fans is if we bring in one of these managers with higher standards, with better pedigrees, and by the way, I can't see the better pedigree. I can see no factual evidence of it. It's like, that's going to make us better. I'm not denying we might play better football, but for any football fan to think that suddenly these managers come in and it's like the Fergie days again, they're mad. They're mad.
It's ridiculous. And to be honest, like I can bring up a few points here. Allegri, I know he's a proven winner. Most of his trophies came in at Juventus, where he had pretty much a perfect team with no competitors whatsoever. Milan, he was pretty ordinary because, like, again, he didn't have any good players there. I mean, like, you're as good as the players that you can manage and, I guess, implement your system, which is, I guess, like the system is the word that everyone wants to use. Again, at Tottenham, okay, he did pretty well. But again, it's not only him. If you see, like, the recruitment, like, a lot of people credit him, like, with developing a lot of players. But most of those guys were acquired and bought when Paul Mitchell was there. He was the one that identified and brought in a lot of, like, very good and young talent there. Of course, Poch, after that, like, developed them. But if you see, like, his signings, like, or his record for signings, like, a lot of people flopped under him, but no one brings that up because, I mean, Poch, he's the amazing.
Listen, I
manager.
think Poch has done some great things. He got top 4 consistently. He did it on a smaller budget than other teams, and I think they're all areas to congratulate him on. I'm just shocked. We've got Aaron on the line. We're going to go to in just a second as well, buddy. 1 sec, sorry, but
Sure.
I heard people phoning up on the radios today. I heard a United fan phone up and say, "Just get Poch done, and we will be competing with Klopp and Pep inside 12 months." And I just sit there and think, I don't understand where that level of confidence comes from. Aaron's here. What are you saying about this, bro? These are the 4 or 5 managers we're linked with: Poch, Allegri, Nagelsmann, Hasenhüttl, and Laurent Blanc. In your opinion, which one would you personally go for, and how long do you think it's going to take them to get us back to the promised land?
To be fair, Laurent Blanc is probably the most surprising name in there. Where do those links come from?
These are from multiple bookmakers that have linked,
right, yeah.
And they base their odds on the most stories. In fairness, the only 3 that I think have any real chance of happening are Nagelsmann, Allegri, Poch. That'd be my opinion. But yeah, those are the top 5. Outside of that, you go to Diego Simeone. Rafa Benitez is the 7th favorite. He ain't coming. Do you know what I mean? So it gets crazy after that.
Yeah, the Blanc one is a bit weird still. That's just because I heard you say the name and I was like, oh, Blanc. I mean, he hasn't been managing for a very long time, so yeah. I don't know if he's still got that same hunger, because the way he left PSG wasn't in the nicest way. They fell out over some stuff, so I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I think out of those managers that you just named, I think Poch is the favorite. I think there's no secret to it. Yes. Yesterday with his comments on Sky Sports as well, saying that he's ready to come back into management. He's indirectly, respectfully telling Ollie, listen, I want your job in it. So, listen, I'm not one of those guys who's been screaming for Poch to come in, but I think Poch would be the most suitable guy to come in next out of those managers that you just named. I think it would take time for us to challenge again. The brother that said 12 months I think that's a bit delusional. I think I don't think it will take 12 months for Poch to make us challenge again. I think if he comes in, I would have the same approach as a fan as there's feedback from someone, but I don't know what.
Someone's just got a bit of noise going in the background. Yeah, go on, carry on, mate.
Yeah, so if Poch comes in, I think I would have the same approach and the same opinion as I had when Ollie signed the permanent contract. I said, when everyone was going mad at the beginning, when we had that horrible end to the season when he first came in, the draw to Huddersfield, and then we lost at home to, who was it that got relegated? Cardiff, yeah, thank you. I said, I told everyone to calm down, and I said, I could only judge Ollie properly after 18 months. That's what I said 18 months ago. He's been here for nearly 2 years. And for me, what's standing out to me is the fact that we're still debating within our fan base, not even outside of our fan base, but the fact that we're still debating within our fan base whether he's good or not, to me, just, it kind of proves that he isn't, because we still don't have a set starting 11. We chop and change, even though that's what we want as fans, because this formation doesn't work and this doesn't work and this doesn't work. So, okay, let's change the formation, change the personnel. I think there's way more inconsistency than consistency. I think the only consistent thing we are is being inconsistent. And I think as Man United under Ollie, we live in patches. We live off a few games, let's say 5-6 games, we play well, and then the next 5-6 games were horrible. Then the next 5-6 games were good again. Then 5-6 games after that were horrible. And I just think if you want to succeed, or at least trying to be up there with the likes of Liverpool and City, or even close the gap, because I'm saying up there with them, but just close the gap. You can't be consistently inconsistent.
And I think
there has to be a certain level of consistency.
And you make a great point there. And this is where there's no doubt these managers may improve when they come to Man United. But in terms of inconsistency, Ollie wins more games out of every 10 he plays as a manager than Poch does. Only marginally, but they're about the same. They win half their games each. So based on the pedigree of Poch, there is still a chance that he comes in, and he's not a new manager either. There's a chance he comes in and we remain as inconsistent. I think what's frustrating me is this delusion from fans that if we bring in Allegri, bring in Poch, bring in Nagelsmann, it's just going to be like watching Sooty and Sweep, and it'll be abracadabra. Matthew, I think he's called in. Is it called? Do you know what I mean? Abracadabra. They'll tap the little magic wand, and it's all going to be perfect again. I just think. I think in 2 years' time we're going to be back and having the same conversation, and whether it's you, Aaron, or someone else is going to say, "I can't believe we're 2 years in, and we're asking whether or not Poch is being consistent or not enough." We've added KJ to the call and Mac. I'll go to KJ first. What you saying, bro?
What are you saying, Pastor?
I'm good. First of all, I want to say is the Glazers are pagans and Woodward are beanheads. Now and forever, I'm on that team. Second of all, one of the brothers on here earlier, he said that Allegri has won most of his trophies with Juve, and other than that, he's been ordinary. Like his first Serie A title was with AC Milan at the time. And that time as well, that's pretty impressive. And he did have Zlatan and Thiago Silva, and they are the reasons why they got their PSG move, was playing under Allegri. So I'm not saying I want Allegri. I'm just saying that there's a bit more to Allegri than just he managed at Juve and he was the best team, so therefore he won the league. There's still a bit more to Allegri than that. And in terms of Poch in, Poch out, Ollie in, Ollie out, I don't really care, innit? Like, as soon as Poch comes in, I'm just gonna put hashtag Poch out there, not because I want Poch to fail, but because I already know that it's gonna be like this in another 18 months anyway. So might as well get it in early, because this board ain't gonna be doing nothing for Poch. He will get us playing better football, maybe get us third, maybe get us closer to the top guys. But when it comes to actually pushing forward and pushing on and giving him what he needs to become the best manager in the world, they ain't gonna give it to him. So I feel so bad for him, because he's already lost a job that he's just got into.
Can I just say, KJ? Sorry, can I just say, KJ? So you're saying that if Poch comes in, obviously he's not going to get the backing from the board. That's what you're saying, right?
That's completely what I'm saying. Yes, because we've seen it for 7 years.
But look at the managers that we did have that came in. I don't think Moyes spent that much money. Van Gaal spent money. Mourinho obviously spent money. Oli spent money.
Yeah.
So do you not think that when
spending money doesn't equate to being backed? If I buy a Nissan Micra for 1 million, well, I asked for a Mercedes, have I been backed?
I'll give you an example, Aaron, and it's one that you may not like. Jose Mourinho wanted to get rid of Pogba and Martial because he felt they made his team worse. The club said no and didn't back him. They will do that. They do, and now that's a decision that I actually agreed with Woodward on. I didn't want those two players to leave, but the point being,
that's what I was going to say,
and that's what happens.
It was a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, right now people don't really like Pogba at the minute. Again, as a general rule, if you're gonna, but they never would have told that to Fergie. If Fergie wanted rid of those players, they would have gone and we all would have accepted it. The world's changed.
Rid of Beckham, Roy Keane, you got rid of all these men.
So I think for me, we had a super chat as well here that says, "How can you say no manager will get backed? Jose got as much to spend as Pep and more than Klopp." So there's a few things here I would say. Jose's toxicity didn't help in the end. There's no defending. There's no defending. There's no defending his behavior, but it's what leads to that. So every year we go on being more and more in turmoil, the more work the new manager has to do. So when Pep came into a pretty well-oiled machine at Man City. He just needed to improve things. Ollie's job was undoing 3 previous managers' mistakes. Poch or Allegri's job is going to be undoing 4 managers' problems, and so on and so forth. So it isn't about just saying, oh, this first summer, second summer, you're giving them money. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 years. We haven't got the fan base to wait that long. Look how long it took City to get to this standard. Look how long it took Liverpool to get themselves back to the top. They didn't do it in 1 or 2 years. And until we're prepared to go through the bad times, drop our narcissism, drop our own wants, and say, I'm backing the manager, irrespective of who the man is. Our managers could do really well for 15 games, lose 1 match in a top 6 clash, and people start coming for their neck. And it happens every single week. And that's why I feel sorry for all these managers on this list, because none of them are going to be given the chance by the fans, let alone the goddamn board. I'm going to go to some more callers. We've got more people on the line. I've got some super chats first. Sorry, people. Comment here from Bonds says Mourinho did well at Man United, and he had a far worse players than we have right now. Why? Because he was an accurate manager. Oli is inconsistent. And listen, I would expect Jose to do better than Oli. Jose Mourinho is one of the best managers of the last 30 years. Sig here says, why Solskjaer is a bad manager? He can't judge his own team. Premier League starting team with... Sorry, I really don't understand this here. Why Solskjaer is a bad manager? He can't judge his own team. PL starting team win percentage with McTominay 37%. McTominay 40%, Matic 60%. I can't understand that. I'm trying to read it, bro. It don't make no sense to me reading it out loud. Nosek again says, our squad right now is nowhere near as bad as the squad Klopp started with. I'd argue in squad quality, we're better than their 17-18 Champions League final squad. Bro, one of the greatest assembled squads in the history of football was the Galacticos in the early 2000s. They didn't really win very much. It's not just about that. It isn't just about the quality of personnel. It's the balance, bro. It's about the balance that just isn't there. We've got Mac on the line with us now. Mac, what you saying, bro?
Not much to say, man. I just wanted to say, because listening to what everyone was saying, and you know what? It's like people just they're still thinking backwards. I don't, you know it is for the older Manchester United fans. I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, the younger Manchester United fans, it's like, all right, cool. You may be naive to this whole process of how things go with this board. For the older Manchester United fans, I expect much better, man, because we've had a consistency of a lack of, let me say, business acumen when it comes to football. So I'll put it this way, yeah. Look, we wanted Jadon Sancho in the window. Why did we want Jadon Sancho? Because we needed a winger. We wanted to play with wingers, right? We needed someone to play on the right. All right, cool. This is what you do, yeah. If you're in the transfer window and you say, all right, we need a winger, you have a list. You have your first list and you have your second list. You might even have a third. We couldn't get Jadon Sancho. What did we then do? We didn't go and get another winger. We went to go and get two other younger wingers that clearly are not ready to step into this first team. There's other players that we could have got. We could have got a Leon Bailey. There's other players people would know. There's other wingers out there we could have got, right? That's because we are not run properly as a club. Everything we do is for commercial reasons. It's for PR. Because Jadon Sancho would have come in. He's young. He's English. He would have sold a lot of shirts. Everything is just for the PR aspect of it. It's not for the footballing reasons of it. Yeah? When Pep couldn't get certain players, he still got the players in those positions. Because it's not about those types of players that he's going for. He needs a player in that position. So when people are talking about Poch coming in and him doing all this madness and whatever, you got to realize the people that he's going to be still working with. I'm not doubting his credentials as a manager. I'm doubting the credentials of the people that's going to be overseeing the job that he's to do.
Mate,
So
Mac.
So when KJ is saying he's already been sacked before he's even got the job, he's 100% spot on. And that's why I'm disappointed with some of these older Manchester United fans that think to themselves, this guy's going to come in and just do a job on stardust. Yeah? You're off your head. You're wrong. You're mad. Everyone wants to give out stats about, the distance that his players cover and all this type of listen, you got to think about what's going to happen now, yeah? Poch comes in, right? We have Wan-Bissaka that plays on the or at right back. Poch normally plays with wing backs. So what's going to happen to Wan-Bissaka when he comes in? The board just going to suddenly say, we'll get rid of Wan-Bissaka.
We Wan-Bissaka out and Ethan Laird in, fam. I'm here for that, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, but let me just say, so what's going to happen? We're going to sell Wan-Bissaka? They ain't going to go and do that because Wan-Bissaka is a young, English, talented right back. But he's not going to be able to fit within Poch's system. Yeah? But at the end of the day, you have to be able to back your manager in terms of what he needs to do to make this club successful, and they're not going to do it. So what is the point? Do you know what I'm trying to say? And this is why I said to Terry earlier this morning, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because yes, he will be a good manager to come in, but he's not going to have all the pieces that he needs to complete this puzzle. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
can I just ask you?
Heard the claps in the background for that one. You know he's business.
Yeah, go on, Aaron.
Wait, can I just ask you? Can I just ask the brother that just spoke? What do you think now? Based on what you said, would you want Ollie to stay?
But this is what I'm trying to. This is what I said to Terry. I'm starting between a rock and a hard place because I'm neither Ollie in or out. I don't really think that I don't think he was suited to get the job in the first place, and that harks back to the board in the first place because they just gave him the job on the good vibes and not the credentials of him actually being a coach. What I do think Ollie can help himself with though is that one thing that Fergie was able to do was to notice that, you know what, the game is moving beyond what I can actually do for it. So I'm going to get this guys in. I'm going to get Carlos Perez. I'm going to get a Rene Munestein. Only working with these guys. When you look at how we play, we do not retain the ball very well. We need to get some coaches that can teach these players how to retain the ball well. If he's not prepared to go to the ball and say, listen, I need some coaches that can do that job, then he needs to go, because I like what he does on the management side of things. On the coaching side of things, I'm not too sure about, but still at the end of the day,
and Mac, what you say, sorry, Mac, what you put on there is really important as well, bro, because this is where if you have football minds on the board, I expect them to step in. So in my profession, in the financial world, I'll always employ someone to come in and do a particular job for me. In fact, there's two people that are on this show right now with us live. In the YouTube world, I have them running shows on my channel. I have certain standards that I want them to adhere to. Now, I don't hold their hand every single step of the way, telling them how to introduce things, how to talk to guests, how to answer phones, how to say hello, how to say goodbye. I don't micromanage them because I trust them to get on with the job in hand because I've picked them for a reason to host shows because they're very, very good at it. In the banking world, if I bring you in to work in sales, commercials, marketing, it's because you've got the skills for it. However, if there are areas that you're not doing right or to the standards, it's my duty as I don't like using the word boss when talking to these guys, but it's my duty as the person overtly in charge to say, that's not at the standard. Try this, try that. How about look at this? But you've got to pull people in the right direction. Man United right now, just letting Ollie crack on, making a mistake. That's still on the board. It's like the board's job is to make us good on the football. All these football people that say things like the board don't control what the manager does. Well, they should do. They're his boss. And the reason United fail is one simple thing. The board and the owners, their sole objective of Man United isn't to make us the best football team in the world. So imagine this. Imagine you're a football club. If your main objective isn't to be the best football team in the country and one of the best football teams in Europe, how are you ever going to achieve that if that isn't the goal? If I'm going to the gym, but my goal isn't to lose weight, get in shape, whatever it may be, I'm going to go home and eat McDonald's or a burger or a pie because I'm going for the gym just to get out of the house for a couple of hours. I'm not dedicated for that reason. You will know why you do certain things in life and what your end goal is and you fight towards it. Man United isn't to be Premier League champions. And until our board want to be Premier League champions, we are never going to be Premier League champions again. And the thing for me is I think Poch will make us a better footballing side because he is a better coach and he has better coaches around him. That's going to be even more painful to get almost there and not quite achieve it. And that's the bit that I'm really fearful of. I'm going to come back to you in a second, guys. I've got a few super chats to do here. Sid come back and said, hard to say in 200 letters, but basically, if McTominay starts in the Premier League, United win 40% of their games. If Matic starts without McTominay, we win above 65% of our games. That's a great bit of statistical analysis. However, I need to understand the other variables in that. Who else is in the games where we're winning 65%? What other players are differentiated between that? Is it just McTominay's missing? And who comes in for McTominay? Equally, how many games are we talking about? 2 or 3 or 30, 40? I need to see the full body work before I understand that. DJ Steele says, how can any Man United fans say their managers haven't been back, Terry? Tell me how much each manager spent since Fergie. It's about £800+ million. But as we said before, DJ, it's not about how much we've spent. It's on whom. You listen to what LVG and Jose have said. Yep, they come to me and I said I wanted a midfielder. I wanted these 3. They went, you can't have these 3. You're going to have this guy. Don't want him. Well, you're getting nobody then. That's one example of this. Shane here says, Terry, if we are willing to give Giggs a chance and only and Ollie, what about Roy Keane? He takes no crap. Do you know, Shane? I love Roy. I'll ask Aaron this. Would you want Roy Keane in charge, bro?
Hell no. Because the guy still lives in the 80s. He still thinks, because remember when we lost to Arsenal and he was on TV chatting about, smash their faces in. I'm like, bro, I understand your frustration, but it's not the 80s anymore. We're in 2020. And there's a reason why Roy Keane ain't gotten no job since he got, was he released or since he left Nottingham Forest? There's a reason why. He's stuck in the past, man. And that's the only reason why he ain't got no job. And I wouldn't want him anywhere near the players. Because yes, he would probably be like a leading figure in the dressing room, but man would just be like insulting everyone every single day, 24/7. And that's not what you need, innit? You want a leader as your manager. You don't want to bully.
Do you know what people have got to understand about Roy Keane? What we see of Roy Keane, the pundit, and by the way, Patrice Evra is doing the same thing. It's bait. Like I'm calling it out as bait. They're playing up to the cameras. It's like they're annoyed and frustrated, but Roy Keane knows, because I've watched Roy Keane. Like sometimes you watch him when he says certain things. You know when a man, like, you know when you watch a comedy show and you watch them say something really funny and you look at the actor and you can tell they're holding in the laughter. Roy Keane says things and you can see him like this. And like when I've seen Patrice Evra do that thing about, sitting there morbid and only play your best player. I'm looking at it going, I don't believe you, Uncle Pat. I love you, but you did that for the exact reason that you knew it would trend. Roy Keane does it. They play up to the cameras. But
it's not even just that. It's the fact that also you talk about Ollie being a failed manager. Roy Keane is worse, bro.
Yeah, Roy Keane is a legit failed manager. No, 100%.
He's a failed manager. Bro. I don't get why people want this guy.
He is a failed manager, no doubt about it. There's another super chat here. This is a great one. It says, Terry, Brendan Rodgers looks like a proper Man United manager. Let me just talk to you about Brendan Rodgers. See, the style of football is beautiful, but Brendan Rodgers is a serial bottler. And this is my biggest fear. My two biggest fears with Poch. If he comes in, I am going to back him because I back every single Man United player, because the love of my club and my want for them to win is more important than my own narcissism. And we all have a bit of narcissism. But with Brendan Rodgers, he's a serial bottler. And with Poch coming in, the one thing that straight away rivals will be on, and he will have, whether we like it or not, there's going to be a percentage of United fans from day one that are not going to want Poch here. And they are going to be looking for every single time we play a top 6 team, every single time we throw away a lead, every single time we don't win an important game, right? It will be, he's a bottler. Brendan Rodgers would get the exact same thing. If Brendan Rodgers last season did with Leicester, with any other proper top 6 club, right? Traditional top 6 club, he'd have been called a bottler for it. If he did it with Arsenal, bottler. Tottenham, bottler. Only because it was Leicester, they still went, he still had a good season though. I don't want it. He's proven himself to be a bottler. And the thing with Poch, if he gets 2 or 3 years in and we're crumbling at all the crunch and clutch moments, he will be labelled with that forever. It will never leave him. And that's my only fear with him, because he never quite once got over the line with Tottenham. And that is a fear for me. People say things like, but when Fergie came in, he was fresh. Bruv, he broke the stranglehold in Scotland when the Scottish League was strong. And he'd won a major European Cup with Aberdeen. Like, Sir Alex Ferguson was an elite level winner before he came to Manchester United. It's a complete myth to compare him. I heard Igal the other day talk about, if you get on managers' backs too early, you'd never have another Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he was referring to Mikel Arteta being a young fledgling manager. Give him a chance, he'll be like Fergie. I'm sitting there thinking, bro, Fergie won a European Cup before he even came to England. Fergie won league titles before he even came to England. What are you chatting about, bro? Like, do your history before you start chatting about Sir Alex, man. It's a madness.
It's all mad. Like, Man United in this position where, like, is Ollie good enough to get us to the Champions League and win it, or to the Premier League title? No. But then you can't even, so you get rid of him, but you can't even trust the guys in charge to get the right person. Like, where do we go to? Where can we have faith in this club? You can't. So for me, all you can do is believe in the players and believe whoever the manager is at the time, and go forward from there, because them man in charge, they don't care about no league titles. They don't care about top four.
But then KJ, obviously, as Man United fans, we never want United to lose. But what happens if on Saturday we lose to, Everton? Yeah. And then the next game before the international break, or after the international break, West Brom. What happens if we draw and we don't get? What happens?
I'm not saying that no one ever deserves never to be sacked. Right. You deserve what you get. But what I'm saying is they get what they get, fine. But how can you trust these guys to pick another person?
Sorry. absolutely right. And I agree with both of you. Like we can't keep losing league games. We can't keep doing that because I want to achieve still. This season is still salvageable. Lose our next 2 league games. And by the way, losing to West Brom with how bad they are would just be embarrassing. I don't disagree with getting rid of the manager. My pain is looking at United fans. And do you know what it is? I was on board with them with Moyes and LVG. I was doing it, man. I was on socials. I was one of the front runners, bro. I was one of the first guys to go viral ranting about David Moyes out of all YouTubers ever in the history. Man had hair then, bro. Everything, right? I was that guy screaming in my bedroom. This is when YouTubers had barely any views, and I did like 87,000 views ranting about him, right? Point I'm making is I did it with those 2 managers where I was like ranting, screaming, raving, and was like, bring in a new manager and it will improve. Bring in a higher caliber of manager and it will improve. When we announced LVG, you look at his pedigree, what he'd won, how he played football compared to Moyes. I'm like, look at our players, look at our squad. We're going to fly. You know, when I saw him and Robin Van Persie high-fiving each other and celebrating the World Cup, I was like, bro, San Herrera. We had Luke Shaw that everyone in England wanted. I'm like, man, we're going to be flying. Yeah. We're going to be flying. We're going to be flying. Didn't work. By the end of it, I was ranting and raving about that man. And then I met him. In a private meeting, had a conversation. He was telling me what Man United did to him, how they treated him. Still didn't fully believe him because I thought, he's just trying to like get himself off the hook. Yeah. And then with Jose, I didn't allow myself to get angry with it. I was like, hang on, this will be the 3rd time on the bounce. We've just blamed the managers. We're not looking at the club. And everyone said the same thing to me on my shows. Terry, get rid of Jose and all our problems will be resolved. He is the main big problem. Look where we are. Less than 2 years later, another manager we're saying is the main problem. And that's my concern, guys. It isn't going to get better.
What I want to say is, but I just want to say, like, as much as I understand your points, Terry and KJ, when we lose games, I cannot blame the board for losing a game.
Yes, you can.
Like the board have,
you can, because they're the man who put that fight in charge in the first place.
No, but what I'm saying is they have no direct involvement in that on that day when the team plays in terms of the tactics and the formation.
I would completely agree with you if it's one-off games that we're losing with this squad, and it's like, okay, you can't. But when it's 7 years of failure,
my example would be if I let a presenter on this show who is consistently sexually and racially abusing people, I'm not speaking for him. But if I let him have a platform to keep doing it, that's on me. That's how I look at it. We keep giving, if these managers, if they are the problem, if the managers are the problem, and this same board keep giving the wrong managers the job, why are we not? I get the point that Ollie's losing the games. But I don't want to trust these guys picking a new manager and managing it because they have failed equally as much. That's the bit that like troubled my soul, man.
And I hear that, Terry, but I told you this morning in the group chat, these guys are here to stay. They've been here since 2005. Yeah, so we can carry on screaming Glazers out till we're 60. They're not going to leave unless, and I said it again this morning, unless we get relegated. And I know that United fans are going to say, oh, you're crazy for saying that. But trust me, if that really was to happen, they would leave. And until that doesn't happen, go on.
You're a person who speaks about high standards. Don't let your standards drop. Don't let mediocrity set in. But yet, we allow this board to be mediocre. We've got all the smoke and the flames for managers and players saying you're bringing the standards down. Those pagans up top, they're the first ones to bring the standards down. From the moment they've said we're no longer going after the league, all we care about is top 4 and scraping top 4, they have set the standards already low. So all this standard talk is fine. Well, at least send it upstairs, because them man who set the standards, not the players, not the manager, the people who employ them set the standards. And what's also worrying about them? They listen to us. Why are they waiting to sack Ollie if they're going to get rid of him anyway? Why?
But the thing is, we know what to do. We know what to do in it in terms of like, and everyone here that's in the call and the brother as well. We know what to do in it. In terms, if we really wanted to get rid of the board and Woodward and all these things, we've said it so many times. Don't buy the merch. Don't go to the mega store. Yeah. But there's millions and millions of United fans around the world. Not everyone's going to have that same mentality as us. So we can do it. 50,000 people can decide today and say, we're going to unfollow Manchester United, like that trend was going on. Unfollow United. 50,000 people may do it. Do you think they're going to care? They have 23 million other people around the world.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse for me though, because you're still doing your part, and you're underplaying your own self in this, Aaron. You have 9,000 people that watch you. So if you do it,
big up to you as well.
so yeah, well done.
Man.
Closing on that 10K, bro. You got 9,000 people
that.
that subscribe to you and watch you. Thousands on social media. You can influence them. I'm going to call out the big guys here. Bigger YouTubers than me. Rants, Flex, Goldbridge, Makola, Howson. And then you've got the older generation on socials, the Pete Boyles of this world, the Webbies of this world. These people can mobilize hundreds of thousands collectively between them. Goldbridge has the biggest Man United platform outside of the official club in the world. He can mobilize them people. Do you know how I know this? Those people, tens of thousands watch him live every day because how amazing his channel is. And they hang on his every word. And that's a respect thing I'm paying him there. I'm not saying Goldbridge has to do this. It's his complete and utter free choice. But if everybody, just in the ones I've mentioned, came together and did it, it would work. If every dad who's a Man United fan and mum went home and got their kids who are United fans, say, we're not doing this for this reason, it spreads. We could do it, but we don't. Do you know why? The real reason is, bro, it's too much hard work. It's a lot easier to be like an old man and shout at the sky because you know it ain't really going to change anything. So actually, like, real change is hard, bruv. And I think it's easier. And I know that because I used to do it. And I'm like, it's just one of them tough ones. I've got some super chats to do before we go to David here. First one says, well, loads of super chats here. First one says, Scotty Mac started 25, Matic 22, sorry. Started both red card games, which makes his stats worse than they are. Scotty Mac maybe played a couple more games during our difficult spell, so the numbers don't lie. Okay, thank you, bro. Michael here with the super chat says, all British managers are no good, especially the English ones. Yep, I'm definitely agree with you that Sir Alex Ferguson was a bad manager, Michael. Absolutely terrible manager. But thank you, bro. Thank you for that one. Anthony here says managing Man United is more than just being a tactical genius. It's more about how you handle the board, how you handle the negativity in the press, and we need a serial winner with all those qualities.
But who is that serial winner, though?
That's a hard one, bro. That's a hard.
Not many out there left.
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho. But there you go.
I look at it this way. I'm happy with a Nagelsmann or Poch, but again, I am happy with them. But I know one thing. Our fan base ain't got the patience to wait 3 or 4 years for them to come good. Jesus, we ain't got the patience to wait for the kettle to boil. Like they haven't, these people. They're off their head. They want it now. And if it doesn't happen now, it will start straight away. Another super chat here says United's goal difference with Van der Beek on the field is 13-1. It's a great way to tweet. That's great. He ain't been on the field so much. So yeah, it's true. Shane here says, Terry, I've never seen United fans so down this weekend after the midweek results, watching the press conference today and no one taking responsibility. I'm not too sure about...
You see that? I've said it so many times. Every time we lose, there's only a few that really take accountability and responsibility for what happens. I just feel like everyone just kind of brushes it under the carpet and then it's like, forget about it. Yeah, we go again. This is one thing that's been annoying me a lot, Terry. Like, we lose, but then you see people come out, and I know people have said that's Ollie's character, but you see people smiling and then these sorry posts on social media, we go again, and this is not how we're supposed to play. Like, don't tell us that on social media. Go to the training pitch, work your ass, work your backside off, come back to the next game.
Do you know what makes me laugh, though? I hear you on that. What makes me laugh about that, Aaron, is you said about like Roy Keane going back old school. I remember my dad and uncles and older people kicking off once when there was photographs of the England team waiting to go home from the World Cup when they were knocked out in like 2006 or whatever, and they were all screaming that they were smiling in these photos. How dare they be smiling after being knocked out of the World Cup? And I'm like, how can we say footballers can't smile after? I love that though. Like, for me, I agree with you, by the way, like to an extent, in the sense of I want you to in public look sad for a month, especially when you get beat by Arsenal. Like, you have to be there. There's no doubt about that.
This is where everyone needs to take a page out of the book of vibes. Just ignore all of that stuff, because your life will be so much happier. I've seen people complain about Ollie's press conferences. Don't listen to them, fam, because it'll just get you angry. Just go and watch the games.
Do you remember
to be fair, he says some wild stuff though.
He does, but when he first came in,
It took us 10 games to win 3 matches.
That's crazy. That was a dumb one. That was a dumb one. I'll give you that. But when he first came in and did press conferences, go back and watch people that did reviews of his press conferences when he first came in. And look at the comments. It was all, oh, what a breath of fresh air. Oh, I love it. I love it. In that first 3 months when he was winning all them games, no one moaned about how geeky he was in press conferences. As soon as everyone...
because Mourinho was so toxic, man.
Yeah, but this is how it changes, bro. When Poch comes in, everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, the way he talks, it's like listening to melting chocolate. Oh, that's what it'll be like. And then if it starts going wrong...
On Sky last night.
People, honestly, bro, I'm telling you now, last night, a lot of grown men got their wank sock out and were watching that going, oh, Poch, straight up. David, as a neutral, what's your thoughts, bro?
I'm trying to compare it to how Chelsea have been, because in the we still won, but we've went through a period where like just spending loads of money didn't really work. And like our club kind of lost its vision and was just buying players depending on which manager. And what you tend to see is that method of running a club doesn't work, because what you end up with is Frank Lampard having to field Marcos Alonso, and they're not compatible as players. What's really good for us now is that we seem to have gone the director of football route and have said we want to use managers that play this style of football. So no matter who comes in, we'll have players who are more transferable than going from a Conte to a Lampard. What I see with United fans is who is available regardless of how they play football. Like if you get in Allegri, that's cool, he's a serial winner. But the amount of people that are going to have to leave that club because they do not suit an Allegri system is mad. Like Allegri's probably going to play with 3 centre-backs. You barely have 2 now. According to most United fans. So like...
Mate, and you make a great point. And then what happens is I think under any of the managers that come in, there's going to be an overhaul of players. If you look, right, I think Poch will get rid of whatever our squad is now. If Poch is here 3 years, within 3 years' time, I reckon 60-70% are going to go. Our fans haven't got the patience to wait for that to come to fruition. If we don't get results straight away, the only way it will work is if Poch comes in and gets us winning at a 65-70% ratio straight away and is turning people over. Then you'll have a bit of credit in the bank. You wait for the Pogba FC crew or the Martial FC crew when Poch comes in, and I can't wait to see some of these people's faces when their favourite player is told by Poch, you ain't good enough, because then they're going to be like, oh, now they won't know who to side with. It's going to be like a unstoppable object hitting a movable object. They're not going to know what to do, because these people they don't love Man United. They love players and certain managers. It's going to kill them. And that's what I hope. I actually hope, and that's the only time it's really bad me saying that. I do hope if Poch, Allegri, whoever they are, come in, and there's a general consensus of happiness with the manager, I hope one of the favourite players of these weirdos online gets sold just to see the reaction. I'm so intrigued by it, bruv. Like, we know what United fans are like, though. When we got all the rumours came through, we're going to get rid of Lukaku in the early stages of Ollie's tenure, everybody, I'd say 90%, were like, oh, good, he ain't good enough. Halfway through last season, it's should have kept him, should have kept Lukaku. Why did we get Lukaku? Rid of Lukaku?
Nah. I kept the same energy because I'm not forgiving him for what he did for leaking those stats. I'm not forgiving him.
No, and I hear you, bro. But we all saw that on social media. We all saw it from people. And the same thing will happen again, bro. We could get rid of, like, if we sold Rashford because he's Trashford and he's English and English players that shouldn't be rated, and then man starts banging in 30, 40 goals in elsewhere, we'll start attacking the manager that got rid of him. It's how it always happens. No Chelsea fan cried when Salah was sold. Then he become a great player and they'll go, oh, Jose's so stupid getting rid of him. But shut your mouth. None of you wanted him. Hush your gums, bro.
Yeah, the only one I've ever been angry with is De Bruyne, because I always thought that De Bruyne was actually really good for us.
Yeah, it's the same with Fellaini. Fellaini, got so much hate and stick. I remember the day that he looked like he was leaving and was about to hold a party, but then on the last day he signed a contract. Yeah, everyone went for his
bro. Man got people with cancer on him that day.
You know what I mean? Like, and that day was mad. We keep him for however long, a year and a half. He gets sold in January, and then this guy, these people, I've seen him say, you know what? Yeah, we should never got rid of Fellaini. He always gave his best for the shirt. I'm like, But you the same man
Yeah.
who wanted him gone.
I
and
saw
stuff. What are you talking about?
one guy on Twitter that I followed for years, always on Fellaini's back. I think it was one of the games towards the end of lockdown. It might have even been against Sevilla. When they were like, "Oh, we could really do with a Fellaini today to lump the ball up to." And I'm like, "Nah." See, for me, I wish if I could invent an algorithm that banned you from. I'm banned, by the way, at the minute. They're not. Their mailbox for appeals is full, so I'm waiting. I called Ed Woodward a CUNT, and I've been banned for a week now. I haven't been able to unblock it. I've tweeted I just tweeted it at Man United to tell him that I got reported and done. But like I would ban people. I would ban people for hypocrisy. Like if you say Fellaini's the worst player in the world, he's got to be sold, and then with any time in the future without apologizing, right? Like your apology tweet has to be big, bright, pink tweet with like shining bells and lights. Everybody notices it. Do you get what I mean? It should be huge. You shouldn't be allowed to say those things. I ban them. I hate those people. Well, boys, listen, it's been a great chat. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you for all the super chats, people. We're back after Atalanta, Liverpool this evening. So we'll be live when that game finishes. Until then, take care of yourselves, people. Goodbye. God bless. Hit the like, share button. Sign up to the mail list and subscribe to the Football Terrace clips. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you in a bit. Peace.